Hi, it's Nick here from Itchy Thumbs RC, and today we are looking at the Huina 580 radio controlled excavator. This is kind of going to be a bit of an unboxing and also an in-depth look at the excavator, its functions, and the differences to the old version, the 550. The 580 has been upgraded quite considerably compared to the old 550 version, and we're going to take a look at those upgrades today and have a real in-depth look at the 580. Okay, so when you get your Huina 580, it comes in this really nice carry case. It's not leather, but it looks like leather, and it's going to protect your excavator from, you know, knocks and damage when you're travelling around with it. Okay, so let's have a quick look, see if we've got these really nice little clips here, and then the 580 box unfolds. So let me turn this round for you so you can see what you're looking at. Nice velvet inside the box, everything's protected. You've got this lovely little fold out piece here. All what is this? This is closed cell foam inside, so this is going to also help keep everything nice and safe. Set of instructions. Turn this round so you can see. This is a heavy piece of kit, the 580. Weighs in at around about 8 kilos. And this one is upside down in the box, as you can see. I'm probably going to turn that around, make it easier to take in and out of the box later. So what comes in the box? Let's have a look. Okay, so first off we've got a battery, USB charging lead. We have got a little bag of goodies here. There's a couple of pins, I'm presuming they're for the accessories. There's a little screwdriver there and a couple of spare nuts. I'm presuming they're for these pins for the accessories, and a bottle of liquid. So that liquid is like vape liquid, like e-juice. It's for the smoke generator, because when this is running, it's got a live exhaust. You can actually generate smoke from the exhaust. Quite an impressive smoke plume comes out of that. We've got an active breaker, so you can see this has got a plug on it. You plug this into the arm on the excavator, and this is a working breaker, so it will bang bang bang. This is all solid metal. It's quite heavy. Again, very nice piece of kit. And then we have got the grab bucket, so if you want to pick up logs or you know, debris with this, maybe branches and leaves out in the garden. Again, this is all metal, all nice solid metal. Let's just pop that there. We've got the 14-channel controller, and again this is a real upgrade from the old 580 version, because the arms and the bucket and everything are now controlled on the sticks, whereas in previous versions the arm was controlled using the buttons, and it wasn't very intuitive to use. The difference is with this now is if you want to drive the excavator using the tracks are now operated with the buttons, top and bottom. This is set for right, this is the set for left, forwards and backwards, and all of the arm movements are controlled using these sticks. But we'll get into that a little bit more later. We'll put some batteries in the controls, put the battery in the excavator, and we'll show it working. Alright, so now the excavator. This is going to be a bit of a mission, because I know for a fact these weigh a lot. So you just have to bear with me while I try and get this out of the box. Take this packing piece out first, maybe. that piece out, and now we're going to get the excavator out of the box. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there it is, the Huina 580 radio controlled excavator. Now, I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but just by looking at this you can really see the quality and the detail that's gone into this. There's a lovely checker plate pattern on the top. All of the hydraulic hoses, I mean these are imitation hoses, but there's also wiring coming up through here, but everything's made to look like a real excavator, and everything on this is made of metal right down to the tracks. These tracks are all solid metal, and what I'm going to do is get some close-up of that for you in a moment. But yeah, let's just have a look. So, turning it over, you can see the bottoms all really nicely detailed as well, and we've got a fully working excavator arm. Now, on previous versions of the Huina excavators, they actually had cogs and servos in the joints on the arms. Now, that has been completely upgraded. What you have now is servo actuated pistons, and what that means is this excavator can actually dig in sand, loose dirt. This has got the power to actually dig like a real machine, whereas previous versions didn't. How the old versions used to work is you'd have cogs inside the armature, and they just didn't have the power to, you know, force that arm through dirt and sand. But with these servo actuated pistons, the power of the excavator has been improved dramatically, and hopefully we'll show you that and do a couple of little tests in a little while. What I'm going to do now is go and find some batteries for the controller, and we'll fire this little baby up, show you how it works. Okay, so we've put some batteries in the controller here. We just need to put the battery in the machine. So there's a little turnbuckle here that allows you to lift off this section. This section actually has the little rubber exhaust on it. This is all metal still, but this is made of rubber, and this sits over a little chamber inside the main body of the excavator, which is the smoke generator. So you put the liquid in here, and this is where the smoke comes out, pushes it up out of this pipe here, and while the machine's running it produces visible exhaust. Okay, so micro XT30 connectors, and these are twin 1850 2000 milliamp cells. Okay, so that just tucks away in the body here. Just put it all in nice and tidy. And then the hatch goes back over the top. Turn the turnbuckle. There's an on-off switch just under the back here. And then turn the controller on. So this should all be ready to run now. Just turn the controller on and off again, off and on again rather, to bind it. Now we should be able to turn the sound generator off. There we go. So there's this button here is the sound generator on and off. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this is slightly different to the old version. The excavator arm is actually controlled by the sticks, so we can show you the excavator arm lifting. And we've got the bucket forwards and backwards. There we go, and the main arm. And then lastly, on the left hand stick is the body turning. Okay, so remember I said earlier that this machine weighs in at about 8 kilos. I just want to demonstrate how much power this machine has got because it's actually got enough power to completely lift itself up. Now if I turn the sound generator back on again, you'll hear that the sound generator actually makes a noise for the arm movements as well. And the lights on the front are activated along with the sound generator. Okay, so again, forwards and backwards are operated on these two buttons here. So we're going to activate that now. The top two make it go backwards, the bottom two make it go forwards. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is grab the camera and show you a little bit more up close to the machine, show you how everything works and different upgrades to this compared to the old version, the 550. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a closer look at this Huina 580 excavator. Just going to show you some close-up details. You look in there, you can see it's a really nice detailed cab. Just have a peek in through the top window. Going to show you that. A bit difficult. It's quite reflective. There we go. Okay, so looking around, these are the new servo actuated pistons. Now the old version, the 550, had a cog in the arm about here and in the bucket, and what the cog did was rotate, and that actually made the arm move. Now the new system is a servo actuated piston, so this shaft here slides in and out of the piston, and inside here is a ball screw. So there's a motor, servo motor up in this part, and that turns a ball screw inside this part of the piston, and that activates a nut which is on this shaft, and the shaft slides in and out of the piston. So let's just turn everything on. Hopefully we can show you that. Okay, so let's see that work. Oops, wrong arm. So you can see the shaft slide in and out. You can hear it working. Now the other thing to point out is these little nipples here. This is a limit switch. Now what this does is it stops the motor from turning when this switch is pressed. So when I get to the travel limit for this arm, it just stops the motor, and that stops the machine actually damaging itself. So if we come down the arm to the bucket, you can see it. There's another limit switch there and another limit switch just there. So let's just show that. So that's hit the limit switch and the bucket has stopped moving. And then the other direction, that's hit the limit switch and again the bucket stopped moving. And it just protects the machine. What it does is it stops the motor carry on running and pulling the thread out of the nuts. I mean, these servo actuators are extremely powerful. It's very important these limit switches are on there, otherwise they just pull themselves to pieces. Okay, so let's have a little bit more of a look around the machine. That's the exhaust pipe that I was talking about earlier. So that's where the visible exhaust will be blown out. You know, a bit like a vape pen or electronic cigarette, just blows smoke out of that exhaust pipe when it's running. And then coming down to the actual tracks, as I said to you earlier, these are metal, and it's a really, really lovely detailed piece of machinery. You can see the pins inside each of the tracks, holding all of the tracks together. And these are the tensional wheels. You see that they're sprung. Very, very nicely engineered piece of kit. Okay, so let's just have a little look in the instructions, because there's some functions inside in the remote control which are really, really handy to know about. So first of all, you can set a password. So the machine can only be used if you know how to use the password, which is great in a way. I mean, you know, if it stops your machine being used if it's stolen, or let's say you don't want the kids to you know, you've got young children, you don't want them to play with it without your supervision. Then you can set a password, and it can't be used unless the password's been entered. Now, the other thing that I found really interesting is the fact that you can set a timer, so that the machine will only run for the amount of time that you've set. Now, this is quite handy if you were demonstrating these at shows or something like that. Then you can set a 3-minute, 5-minute time limit. Let somebody take the controls, and when their time's over, the machine will automatically stop working. So I thought that was quite an interesting function. So remember, we talked about the breaker, which is another component you can have on this machine, apart from the bucket. Now the breaker plugs into a little, let me just turn the machine on its side here. Okay, so you can see that there's a little bit, there's a hole there. There we go, there's a hole there that the breaker plugs into. What you do is you'd undo the nuts and bolts on the bucket, and you put the breaker in its place. And then on the controls, the breaker is activated by this button here. So you can see the breaker working. Okay, so let's test the lifting power. We've got 2 kilograms. These are, not sure if you can see them. There you go, 1 kilogram each, so there's 2 kilos there. Let's just see if this digger can pick those up. So you can see it's completely lifted those off the ground, no problem at all. Gives you an idea of how much power this digger has actually got. And if we extend the arm, you can see it's just got past this tipping point there, but it is actually still suspending those off the ground.